Good job. You've rid yourself of devotion to worldly possessions. Oh, great. Are you going to rid yourself of the Miata? I don't have to. It's leased.
There's an elite list of shows that I happened to binge around my freshman year in college. Daria, Clone High, Undergrads, and they all hit me in a specific way that reminds me of that time in my life. You know, when you're fresh out of high school and you're getting that first taste of freedom, the kind of freedom that only lasts until you get your first electric bill. I love those cartoons because they really represent that headspace for me. Some escapism. I watch Undergrads and I go, yeah, college, but not Mission Hill. I watch Mission Hill and think, damn, I might never own a house.
Well, welcome to the real world, sucker!
Mission Hill is another in a long line of unique, fantastically written adult animated shows that couldn't get past one season. And if I had a nickel for every time that happened, I don't know, but I'd have a lot of nickels. The show is the brainchild of former Simpson writers Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein. It follows aspiring cartoonist Andy French and his roommates Posey and Jim, along with his younger brother Kevin, as they try to survive life in the big city. The show had an initial sporadic run of, get this, 5 episodes on the WB before it was pulled unceremoniously. Luckily, the rest of the unaired bits of season 1, well, at least for the ones that got fully animated, found a home on Adult Swim where it could quietly grow a cult following that screams into the void for more until this day. That's me. The void is the internet, and I'm screaming for y'all to go watch Mission Hill so I can get some more of these characters. Or these. At this point, just slide me a show about anybody in the apartment complex. I could sit here all day and gush about how good this show looks, or maybe about all the gags that are etched into my brain, but instead, I'll ask you a question. Have you ever had a brother? If I'm keeping it a buck, I don't actually have any siblings. I have an older cousin who I like to think of like my brother, but I never grew up having to share my room with another human. So maybe I'm not the best person to tackle this subject, but did I really miss that much?
I like you, girlfriend.
Yeah. Y'all can keep that. The Mission Hill pilot actually kicks off with Kevin moving into the big city with Andy. It follows them as Kevin has to adjust to living away from his home for the first time, and Andy having to figure out that he has to take some sort of responsibility for Kevin. You know, that life isn't all just tits, booze, and parties. It really does act as the perfect opener. And since then, I've always felt that the relationship between the brothers is one of the highlights of the show's writing. While the pilot does a great job of setting up Andy's slacker shortcomings and Kevin's complete social incompetence, the episode that I always find myself coming back to is Happy Birthday Kevin, because it does everything there so well. Happy Birthday Kevin begins on, well, Kevin's birthday, where in typical Andy fashion, he's managed to screw something up before the episode can even get started by accidentally blowing all the money their parents sent him for Kevin's birthday on a neon sign with his name on it. I'd be mad, but I'm trying to get like him. Sign me up for one of those YouTuber rooms with all the Funko Pops and a lava lamp. Oh, and make the lights like neon blue, because I'm tired of living like this. Meanwhile, Kevin's up, excited, heading for school, and getting harassed.
Penis, 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 penis.
Lock 'em up.
At this point, we're basically just watching the youthful joy and innocence slowly get sucked out of Kevin. He starts this episode pretty much walking on air, and as the city literally attacks him, you can feel him just slowly falling down to earth. After a terrible day at school, he comes back to home pretty much a husk. I'm gonna highlight how tightly written this show is real quick, because we're only about 7 minutes in, and on top of the other stuff that I talked about, they're also able to squeeze in a flashback to Kevin's birthday, back when he lived at home with Andy and his parents. There's so much joy and effort put into this party. Look at Kevin. He's literally a little king. We also get most of this from Andy's point of view, so we know that he's fed up with Kevin being the center of attention, not just at this party, but probably since the day he's been born. So when Kevin does come back, Andy's already made a plan to really stick his nose in it. The fact that he's growing up and the world doesn't stop for your birthday like when you were a kid, but life already beat him to it. So, like a good brother, Andy has a change of heart.
Hey, what if I promised to throw you a really great party? Would that cheer you up?
It would have been much easier to make an episode where Andy learns, be nice to your brother. It's his birthday, and that's about it. But since he figures that out right here, and the show's still going, we get to see the needle of the narrative start to point back towards Kevin. Andy begins to get things ready for Kevin's new birthday party, and thinks, I guess for the first time, he loves his brother. And while this is happening, their upstairs neighbors, Carlos and Natalie, are arguing about a snake that she rescued from an animal testing lab that's looking at their baby like he's fat bastard. That's not important to the video, but I still thought it was funny.
Baby, the other white meat.
Andy's able to gather up all his friends and Kevin's to take him for a night out to try and prove that the city ain't that bad. It's about as sweet as we see Andy be the entire show. You can tell that he's really trying hard. They hit the bowling alley. He gets these fake ass Blues Brothers to sing happy birthday at dinner, and Kevin receives his very own ass cake. Amazing. But Kevin ain't going for it, and I did start to feel Andy here. It's honestly pretty obnoxious to watch Kevin be a little jerk to everyone. Even Posey ain't safe.
This one is from Posey. Homeopathic remedy number 51, anti-anxiety.
You can take it right now, Kevin. It's very calming.
Oh, splendid.
And after Kevin gets an admittedly poorly thought out gift by Andy, he just explodes. Then Andy explodes too, or steams, I guess. The heel turn that they're able to pull here is so solid. You start the episode with Andy being his average jerk self, but now you realize he's not entirely wrong about Kevin. He's a bit of a brat. Andy is lazy, selfish, and rude, but that doesn't mean his little brother is always perfect or completely in the right. He's clearly been pampered his whole life, and if he wants to make it in the real world, if he wants to grow up, he's gotta learn to see love when it's shown to him, even if it's not the way he's used to. After the party fails miserably, Andy storms out, only to find out later when he's sulking on the couch that Kevin never came back to the apartment. Posey's such a cool character, man. You could tell she had a blast after they left. Andy heard that the last thing Kevin said was that he was going home, and he knows exactly what that means. And there, sitting alone on the floor, picking at the same brand of store-bought cake that his parents bought him every year for his birthday, is his brother. And unfortunately for Kevin,
This cake isn't as good as I remember. Nothing out here is as good as I remember.
from there, Andy tells Kevin that he's got a new home with him, and he takes him upstairs to show him his old stash of goods. The boys spend the rest of the night running around the house and doing all the things that their parents said that they couldn't do when they were kids. It's super wholesome. Until they get busted by the cops.
Bite me, mother!
Luckily, these guys used to be Andy's friends back in high school, so they let him off the hook and throw Kevin one final birthday party in the house that they grew up in. And that snake from earlier doesn't eat the baby. I love this episode. It's not my favorite in the whole show, but I adore how both brothers are able to grow as people and in their relationship at the same time. Siblings who fight but still love each other at the end of the day are nothing new in animation or television in general. Everybody's seen Lisa and Bart or Dipper and Mabel, but what I think pushes this episode to such a high tier for me is the fact that it's not just a lesson on brotherhood in here, there's a lesson on life. When you get older, everything changes. You have new responsibilities, and things you thought you used to love don't even taste the same anymore. But that's okay, because you find new things to love, and you find new people to love with them. You can't go back to the past, but you can try your best to make the present into something you'll remember fondly. And if you're lucky, you have a sibling that'll help you figure that out.